Okay, folks, I've got the bins on because I've got a couple of bullet points. I've got a couple of messages now. One's linked to sport, but reasonably serious. We'll do that one first. And then we've got one that's more about just serious topics of the day that isn't really sport related. We'll do the sport one first. It's one video in 3 parts. We'll touch 3 subjects here. We're going to start with match of the day. We're going to go to SEBASTION COE. And then we're going to end up with OLD GIT Souness. You may know all of these stories, folks, but if you're not, if you don't, should I say, I'll give them to you now. Match of the day. You know Lineker's gone. We firstly heard that he'd walked away. We've now been told they never offered him another contract. They say he was trying to negotiate it down. He was willing to take a lower offer. They just didn't want him. He's out the door. I think they're after a cheaper option, and I think they're after an option that'll keep his or her mouth shut, say nothing and just present the show, because the BARTON constantly in hot water over things that old Gary Boy is saying. Now, to show that they want to turn a corner completely and not just get away from Gary's views, they also, it seems, want to be very, very PC, as has been the way for the last sort of few years. They've had loads of scandals there and whatever else, and they think if they go massively PC, it'll help them. It doesn't, it just makes things worse. To my mind, if you've got a job going for a presenter of the show there, you pick best in class and that's it, and you walk away, job done. The best in class is probably this Mark Chapman. He probably should get it. He's probably the leader by a country mile. He's done his schooling on Match of the Day too, does a very, very good job. Brilliant at what he does, extremely impartial, just a nice fella. He's like a normal guy on the street. He isn't a big personality, he isn't a big I am, and that suits him, and for me that suits the programme. He was the early favourite for the job. I believe now he's gone second favourite behind Alex Scott. Now, Joey Barton isn't over the moon with that, and for a change, I feel I've got to agree with him. He's tweeted to it, because he's got to watch what he says now, because he's called various pundits and presenters of the female variety covering Premier League sport. He's text or tweeted fantastic news, obviously sarcastically. And I think the same myself. I don't mind Alex Scott. There's worse out there than her. There's much worse. But I think she'd been doing the Football Focus show on a Saturday. I'm sure she had. I'm sure she's recently been replaced or stepped aside. And I read it's because of falling ratings. I believe the ratings are failing. Yeah, the ratings are failing massively, I believe. If that's the case, you think, well, why give a match of the day? Could she not do the same? Did they not learn the lesson with Question of Sport with that buffoon Paddy McGuinness, who's better circling the globe on a chopper than he is presenting a show like that? You know, they took Sue Barker away and it tanked. I think it had about an average of about 3.5 to 4.5 million most weeks, and he took it down to 1 million. If Alex Scott did the same, you could see within the next 3 or 4 years Match of the Day going from our TV screens. It's been a staple of Saturday night TV for 40, 50 years now. I'd hate to see it go. Give Chapman the job, I say. I just don't understand why they think of anything else. This is what I heard earlier today about Alex Scott. I'm hearing more news since. The BARTON now talking about, or now looking into, him getting the job, which would be a thumbs up from me, but sharing it, which is a thumbs down from me and a massive thumbs down from all Mark from what I'm reading. They're looking at, they're asking him to share it with a lady called Kelly Summers. Job share, probably week on, week off. Now, you might know Kelly Summers, folks. I don't know who she is at all. She could be good. She could be crap. There's loads out there that have heard of crap. I heard initially that Chapman was one of the favourites for the favourite. Scott was mentioned, Gabby Logan was mentioned, and Kenny Dalglish's daughter, I think, was mentioned. Gabby Logan, I've got no problem with her. Great presenter. Been doing presenting for years and years and years. On the beat for years and years over a number of sports. She's grand. Got no problem with her. As ladies go, she'd probably be my favourite. But giving a job to somebody because the sexuality or the colour of the skin doesn't float my boat at all. I mean, give it to best in class. It's Mark Chapman. It's simple, just done and dusted. You're going to save money on Lineker. He's not going to want the same money. You're going to get him for a much, much reduced rate. He'll keep his mouth shut. He'll do the job as he should. Bump, everyone's a winner. Can't understand for the life of me why they'd look elsewhere. I really can't. But the fact that they're talking about putting a woman in there, that doesn't surprise. They're all about ticking boxes. And maybe what they're trying to do by putting this young lady in there, this Kelly Summers, and sharing it, they're going to have many folk applauding them for putting the right guy in there, but at the same time, they're going to have these that are shouting and screaming for diversity and for equal this and equal that, patting them on the back and saying, well done for bringing a woman in there. So they're ticking boxes at both ends of the scale, aren't they? Keeping everyone off the back, and that's what they want, a nice, easy ride and to be seen to be great. Well, you're not great. Get the right man for the job, or woman for that matter. That's number one. Number two, Sebastian Coe. Yeah, many of you like him. I don't. Coe and Ovet, it was always Ovet for me, no problem at all. When Coe got the big gig that he's had now for God knows how long, I wasn't over happy. When there was that big furore with, the people behind, you know, the fella, our runner, you know, the 10,000 metre, you know who I'm on about. I say, all right, no script. You know, is it Alberto Salazar? No, that's not the runner. Is it Salazar? The guy that was behind our fella with the old doping. You know Mo. He'll come to me. You know it already, folks, but I can't get it. Mo Farah. Who was his coach, Salazar, or was it not? It might not have been, but whoever it was, the rumours were that he was doping Mo or whatever else. It was never proved. Don't know whether that's true, but the guy that was training Mo had a history for it, a big history for it. You know, Coe didn't do much about that. You know, Russia, when Russia should have been bad from this, that and the other, he didn't do much about that. He's always not done much about this, that or the other. I mean, Farah's boys, weren't they weren't Nike sponsored, and weren't Nike a sponsor of Coe's? I'm sure they were. If memory serves, I think it was all signed into Nike, and Nike were a sponsor of Coe's, so he gave them a bit of free rein. I don't like that, folks. I don't like that at all. Over the years, the people that have run either the World Cup or the IOC, they've been bent people throughout, and you don't want somebody bent and someone that'll take a bung. I worry a bit about Coe. I might be wrong there, but I worry about Coe. Had it been Ovet in the hot seats, I wouldn't have worried at all. Straight as a die, no problem with him whatsoever. But he's not establishment, is he? His face didn't fit, you see. Now, for me, that's the kind of person I like, but the establishment don't. Well, he's after it, the IOC. That's what his next big job is, his next big task. I wouldn't put it past him getting it, but I'm not so sure it's the right thing to do. Right, who else have we got? We've got somebody else with sport. Who else? Number 1B, 1C. Oh, yeah, it's old Graham there, isn't it? Grahame Souness. I heard yesterday. Has he got the OBE? He's got something like that. It doesn't really matter what. Again, I've not wrote that down either. I heard he'd got it for services to football. No, he's not. Services to football and charity. We've had him on here about 5 or 6 times. He's one of the patrons of, is it DEBRA, the charity? I'm pretty sure it is. He's seen that young girl, that young lady in Scotland, and fell for her in a big way. She's got a terrible, terrible, terrible condition. He knew nothing about it, and he does all he can to help, which includes swimming the channel, bike riding for Africa. But yeah, that's just the term, meaning lots of bike riding. Never went to Africa. But I think he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Every time he talks about her, I go as soppy as he does. I don't know the young girl, but he does. He said today, I've got it for football. He said, and I've got it for this charity work. I don't do that to get anything, he said, but this with DEBRA, he said, this is my life's aim now. Until I die, I'm going to do things for this charity and for all those young kiddies that suffer from this condition. He said, because these people are braver than anyone I've ever met on a football field. And I get him completely. Honestly, fantastic bloke. I mean, a lot call him. I don't. I like him. I've heard some good things about him. I've told you in the past of people that have played for him. Said he was a great manager, nice fella, you could trust him. I like Grahame Souness. There you go. I'm a mank, but I like Souness. Most of what he speaks is the truth. He tells you the truth whether you like it or not. And everything he's doing for this DEBRA, I think it's commendable. It really, really is. I'm glad he got the honour. Many people get honours for doing absolutely bugger all. He deserves it. I'm pleased for the lad. Really pleased. Well done, Mr. Souness. And well done in your fight for old DEBRA, or the charity that is, should I say.